And welcome on back, everyone, to episode 111. It's going to be a mouthful of Streaming with the Mouse. Today, we will be talking about Chapter 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. So get ready, relax, and you're listening to Streaming with the Mouse. And welcome on back, everyone, to another episode of Streaming with the Mouse. Joining me today is, I don't know what you always want, the Fennec. I don't remember the name of the two huts, if you want to do those.
I don't either. We're both huts, so I'm fine being a hut.
Cam, how you doing? And my name is Clifton Paul Robinson, if I should introduce myself.
No problem. I'm doing very, very well. I'm very excited to talk about this episode of Boba Fett. Cliff, you and I were talking and texting before or after we saw the episode on Wednesday, and I think you agreed with me. I think this is up there with any episode of Mando, and it was very, very good. I'm very excited to talk about today's episode.
Are you talking about what about mentioning the Fandom Menace? So upset that Boba Fett actually has a personality compared to 2 minutes of screen time.
I want everybody to know that's watching on YouTube. I was about to flip off the camera, but then that would mean editing for Cliff, so I'm not going to do that. But just know I was going to do it.
Is it Eli Manning it?
Yes, that was good enough.
But yeah, I have really enjoyed it. I think the Tuscan Raider stuff has been really interesting. And they kind of set that up in The Mandalorian. That's the cool part. But before we jump into that, there is a few pieces of news. There was really a big one. Actually, we'll save the big one for last. Eternals coming to Disney Plus on January 12th. So if you're watching this day of drop, 3 days from now, you can watch Eternals. I really liked it.
I'm excited to watch it. I'm actually very, I didn't think I'd be, I was like, oh, I'll rewatch it, but, I'm actually very excited to, delve into it and, be able to pause and go back and really experience it all over again, because I haven't seen it besides the one time in the theater, so I'm excited to get to watch it again.
Personally, I would say, and people are like, does that mean it's bad? I'm like, no, I don't, I liked it.
No, it's fine.
I liked it. I think it's the most beautiful Marvel movie.
I did.
I think that's what I will... That's my highest compliment to it. I think it's a very beautiful Marvel movie.
I did think that, and then No Way Home came out, so there we go.
I more mean cinematically beautiful.
No, I know what you mean, and I also mean that for mine. Yeah.
Okay. Other than that, there is some Moon Knight rumors. They have a couple of things going around, but the biggest one that I saw is that it looks like Moon Knight might get dropped in February.
I also saw that. That would be very good for my little Marvel heart, because as awesome as 2021 was for Marvel, where there was a new thing basically every other month, going till May is gonna be that's gonna be a withdrawal, people. So I'm gonna need something. So if they can drop that in February, after Book of Boba Fett, that's gonna be awesome.
So you're struggling right now. You're going through your withdrawals, or is
Spider-Man absolutely. I have the shakes and stuff like that. I'm rewatching Loki again. I need something.
But I will say, I'm looking at my little thing. It was from the Marvelous Squad. The updates rumors. There was a rumor to be a trailer this week.
Oh, good.
Saturday. This was released last week. This was released last Sunday. So unless there's a trailer today or sometime tomorrow during football, it's already a lie. So I would not really believe it. And then two of the other updates rumors, and we kind of knew one of these. But the other one's a new one. Supposedly Blade will be making a cameo.
That'll be interesting.
I think we kind of guessed that.
Yeah.
But with Blade would also come Dane Whitman. So we get our first Eternals crossover.
Yeah, that'll be awesome, especially if we get the Black Knight. That'll be really cool.
It would be really cool to see that.
I have one more thing on news, unless you have something else.
You can go first. It might be what I have, but who knows?
Cal Dodd, who is the voice of Wolverine in the X-Men animated series, he was recording, I believe yesterday, he posted on Twitter, that he's recording lines for the upcoming reboot, or continuation, I guess, of X-Men 97 that will be coming to Disney Plus, done by Marvel Studios. Very excited, as I've mentioned multiple times, how big of a fan I am of the X-Men animated series. Probably one of my... It's up there with Batman, the animated series, for me as one of my favorite shows, but very excited, very cool that the wheels are in motion right now. Also, I took advantage of that Barnes & Noble 50% off hardcover sales. I got the Art of the X-Men animated series book. It's fantastic.
That's cool. I did see that. I saw that posted on Reddit yesterday. However, that's not my big thing of the week that really shocked me. I woke up and I was very shocked. I think this is gonna make you sad because I think there's implications from it. But Pixar's movie Turning Red is skipping theaters completely and is going straight to Disney Plus on March 11th.
So, does this mean the movie stinks? Like, I don't know anymore, because it made sense during the height. I mean, I guess this is the height of the pandemic right now too. I don't really know what's happening anymore with like movies at this moment.
This is the second height. This is the second.
But like,
height of the pandemic.
I understood it for Onward. Granted, Onward had a little bit of a theatrical release, and then COVID shut it down basically. So then
did it start in theaters?
Yeah, it did start in theaters. Yep. I missed it. I was all excited to go to my birthday weekend, and then I didn't go because of COVID, and then they moved it to Disney Plus. Soul came out, obviously.
Soul, incredible.
What else came out on Disney?
But now Encanto just came out on Disney Plus, but that's in theaters.
But that was in theater. It's still in theaters right now. So that's what's interesting to me is you have Encanto that started off in theaters and is still playing in theaters, but you're not going to have this movie come in. It feels like Pixar is kind of getting the backseat, which makes me sad because I love Pixar Studios.
And I also don't think that's really fair because if we're being 100% honest, the difference between Pixar animation and Disney animation, Pixar animation is really made beautifully for a screen, and I hate to be, it sounds so pretentious, like whenever all these filmmakers in the past years have been like, oh, my movie's only good for the screen, but like Pixar, that animation just looks so incredible, especially in like IMAX. Like a Pixar movie in IMAX just looks absolutely insane. I mean, it's good because it's going to be on Disney Plus. I don't know how to take it. I don't think it. When's the last time a Pixar movie, like you always like to say, when is the last time a Pixar movie stunk?
Good Dinosaur?
I haven't even seen that one.
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh, Cars 2. Cars 2.
Oh, facts. But that was before, yeah.
But other than that, Cars 3 was great. So
here's the thing. I don't think this is because of the height of the Omicron variant. And the reason I really don't think that is I honestly think this was planned for a while, because how much advertisement have you seen for this movie? It's supposed to come out in like literally 2 months in like a week or whatever it is. Like it comes out 2 months from this upcoming Tuesday when this drops on the 11th. I believe it's the 11th or the 12th, one of those two. But like I've seen no promotion beside the last promotion I saw was back in like maybe November of the first official trailer, and that's it. Usually for these movies, they're pumping these like commercials out sometimes 3 months in advance. Like, I mean, look at Lightyear. I've seen more things for Lightyear, which comes out this summer.
Oh, I've barely seen stuff for Lightyear. I've seen it maybe. I mean, we saw it. It was part of the No Way Home set.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a part of a theatrical trailer. Like
I have seen. I will say this. I have seen Turning Red for several movies.
See, I haven't seen it once
in the theaters. However, this is something like I will like set this up. It's very interesting what's targeted to what. If you go to a Marvel movie, you're mainly going to see Disney product, more adult Disney products getting ready. Disney adult products are kind of hard to market, so they make sure to do it to a crowd that's this. Before the pandemic, my girlfriend and I, we saw The Grinch. We saw the animated Grinch with Benedict Cumberbatch. That's a kid's movie. We're going to put that right out there. There were so many previews that I'm like, what the absolute hell are these movies? And like, was I a kid? And I'm like, I really want to see that. I'm like, I was sitting there like contemplating my whole life. I'm like, was I a kid that was like, that looks so cool? And I'm like, what is going on? And Turning Red was actually not in that slate, but has been in those slates. They've been in a lot of the kids' movies. So if you saw Encanto in theaters, I am guessing you probably saw a trailer for Big Turning Red.
Probably.
I think it's a kind of a clever idea. I think it'll be a funny movie.
I'm excited to watch it. We'll review it. It's gonna come straight to Disney Plus.
That's true. Now we have to review it.
Yeah, I see, but like I don't think like Lightyear is gonna have to be theatrical release. There's no way it's not gonna be theatrical release, because
I mean, if we're following trends, we're gonna be nice and easy during the summer again. But
so we'll see.
But is it time to jump into it? Is it time to jump into one of the? I don't know. This opening music is giving Mando a run for its money.
I still think I like the Mando one better, but it's giving a run for its money. Yes,
giving it a run for its money.
Yes, give me a couple more episodes and we'll see what happens.
But we're going to jump into it. Today's episode, Chapter 2, The Tribes of Tatooine. The official description, Boba Fett faces new challengers on Tatooine. Excuse me. This was directed by Steph Green and written by Jon Favreau. So Jon Favreau has been writing, I believe, the whole show with a few others. It has been confirmed Dave Filoni has written the 6th chapter. That was confirmed to us yesterday.
Is Ahsoka coming in that one?
Or Omega.
Or Cad Bane.
Or just anyone from...
Anyone from Filoni.
Anyone from Filoni. Who knows, maybe just the whole Bad Batch shows up.
There we go.
So, like, last week, we're going to go through each major plot scene. I know one thing Cam is really going to want to talk about, so I'll let him take the lead when we get towards that. But we start with interrogating the witness. Fennec captured him. Boba Fett is out of his, I always forget the name of it, his bacta tank. And they're back at Jabba's palace, where there's just a man kneeling before in chains and everything, with the Gamorrean guards and 8D8, which I didn't realize. I'm like, why isn't he a protocol droid? No, he's just a torture droid. I went back and watched The Return of the Jedi the other day. So they keep trying to ask the assassin to speak, and then finally, when they're not getting anywhere, Boba Fett just orders him to cut off his head. But I really didn't think he was going to do it. I'm like, no, he doesn't.
Yeah,
that's not what he wants. And he curses him. He curses him in Huttese. Fun fact. And then Boba Fett kind of like knows, oh, that'll get you to talk. And talks about sparing him. And then the assassin droid talks about how it's part of the Order of the Night Wind. I believe that's a new thing.
I also believe it's a new thing, because it sounded like something we should know, but I don't think we should yet. I'm wondering if it's these people that... Remember how in the first episode there was a scene where they were spray painting on the thing? Like, I'm wondering if it's something with that, maybe. I don't know, though. Actually,
yes, I just opened it up on Wikipedia. Their only appearances are in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2.
So, yeah, so it's those guys then.
So it's a new thing, and it's the 8D8 talks about how they fear no man, they'll never speak, blah, blah, blah. Boba Fett and Shand are like, no, we'll find a way. And then Fennec says, then why don't we just feed him to the Rancor? And that definitely lights up the guy's eyes. Right. As she presses the button, activates the door, and he goes tumbling in. And before we even go any further, what were you thinking here? What was your first thought? Were you going to see Muchi?
I didn't know what was going to happen here, I guess. But I was just... I don't know. I was just ready for whatever, basically. I feel like the show is going to be full of surprises. So I didn't really know what I was going to expect, I guess. But Were you
expecting Muchi?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think I was.
I was expecting nothing, actually. I was sitting there and I'm like, it's a great fake out. What a great way, because everyone knows about Jabba's Rancor, but no one would have known that the Rancor died because Jabba and most of his entourage were killed. And
don't get me wrong, I was like waiting with bated breath, like, oh my god, I thought it was going to be a new Rancor, I guess, maybe. When I think back of it, I thought it was going to be a new Rancor.
Which would have been Muchi, because Bib Fortuna
I didn't think it was going to be Muchi, though. But I was like...
But Bib Fortuna bought her.
Yeah, but I still didn't think it was going to be that. I don't know. I just thought it was going to be like... Maybe there's going to be 3 of them or something. I don't know. But I really want to see Rancor, but I did like the fake out.
I expected the fake. I don't know why I did. I'm like, because it would just be comical, because everyone knows of Jabba's Rancor.
Yeah.
Jabba wasn't there to... Jabba died, so no one knows that Luke killed the Rancor. And then why in anyone's world would Bib Fortuna tell anyone the Rancor got killed? Because he needs that type of protection. He needs the fear of the Rancor.
If Fennec Shand was sitting on the throne, there's 5 new Rancors there. But Boba Fett is on the throne. He doesn't believe in that stuff. He does want the fear aspect and get the guy out, like get the information out of the guy, but he's not going to actually go kill him.
Yeah, I want a Rancor. I
want 5 Rancors.
I mean, I think Muchi would make sense. Bib Fortuna literally bought the female Rancor. But as this happens, as the man, they do the Ula look where he's like, they do the camera look where it's like what Jabba's Twi'lek was in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
As the door opens and it's empty. And he just says everything, that in a panic, he tells him that he was sent by the mayor of Mos Espa and he begs for his life. And as the door goes all the way up, it's empty. And Fennec, with a great delivery, just goes, it's empty, as a small mouse was in it.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good little scene. I think sometimes Star Wars can, like these shows, expect like you need a little comic relief in here, and that was a good one in this episode because I feel like Mando and Boba Fett take themselves very seriously, more adult than like typical Star Wars, I think, does. So having that comic relief for like kids and I like it too. So I think that's good to have.
Oh, I mean, my comfort movies are Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like even I'm like, oh, maybe I'll switch it up. Maybe I'll put on a Marvel movie. Maybe I'll put on something different. I'm like, nah, Star Wars.
Shang-Chi has become a big comfort movie for me in my house.
Really?
Very good. Yeah, I've watched it like 4 times already.
Good to know.
Yeah.
So because of this, they think they have to go to the mayor. So they go to the mayor. They lead the captured assassin through the streets of Mos Espa, accompanied by their Gamorreans. They really do need more people. They really do.
They really do.
It's kind of embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for them.
Like, if I don't care if you don't have a litter, but like at least have some more bodyguards. I don't know, something.
And as they're walking through the city, several Trandoshans are eyeing them. It's really setting up Bosk. It's gotta be, or it's just because Trandoshans were never on Tatooine.
Right, like I've never seen one ever in my life on this planet. Or like honestly, you don't see Trandoshans much anywhere, even in the movies besides Bosk. I don't think. But and then you see him obviously in Mando, and you see him in here. But
and they were pretty. I mean, they had a whole arc when they captured Ahsoka in Clone Wars, and that's when.
But like I'm talking about like live action, obviously. But like
yes, I mean, I will admit I like the way they look.
Yeah, I think
they definitely look. It really looks like original trilogy.
Yes.
Makeup, though, except for one thing, which we'll talk about in a minute. So, the bravest man in the entire universe is the city hall clerk that asks Boba Fett if he has an appointment to see the mayor.
Yes.
The absolute gall of this man, like life and death is in his hands, as he says, I don't think you have an appointment, where Boba's like, I'm trying to return one of his stray pets.
I love everything about the city hall employees, from the mayor to the Major Domo to this guy, because they don't give a crap who Boba Fett is, and I love that. I think that's hilarious. I think obviously Boba Fett, like when we were kids and stuff like that, and we saw like Boba Fett is like, holy cow, he's a problem kind of thing. I mean, freaking Han Solo is like freaking out like, oh, Boba Fett, where kind of thing. These people don't give an absolute hoot, and I think it's very funny the way they treat him.
Well, it seems like he's been gone for so long, he's kind of been forgotten. But that
but it's only been a couple of years. It's only been like 5 years.
But that kind of happens if you think about it. Like back in the Clone War, before the Clone War started, Jango Fett was the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. Jango Fett dies, Cad Bane takes over. But then during that time, no one remembers Jango Fett except for Boba, and then you have the whole thing where Boba Fett kind of usurps it, and then throughout the entire original trilogy until he goes into the Sarlacc, and then after the Sarlacc, it becomes Mando. Mando is now the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy.
But here's the thing, though. Like I think, like Boba Fett, you have to have some respect, because there's no way you don't know. Oh wow, remember that Boba Fett guy, that bad dude? Like he got eaten by a Sarlacc. He's dead, and all of a sudden.
But who would know
he
got
got eaten? Ghost?
But who knew he got eaten by the Sarlacc?
I feel like that's got to spread around somewhere.
Somehow Max Rebo has returned. He was on the barge. Max Rebo was on the barge.
Well, you got Bib. Bib could easily have said something too.
That's
like
true.
Boba Fett's like, I don't know. I feel like that should be like, holy cow, it's a ghost. Like it's Boba Fett. Like what the heck? I don't know.
Also, just the Mandalorian armor.
I'd be terrified of that, but it's fine.
But as he is going back and forth with the receptionist, the Majordomo kind of overrules it and apologizes for the lack of pomp. But again, he says, oh, he's indisposed. It's been quite a week with Fets. And he just forces his way into the throne room.
I love that.
Which is absolutely what he would do. And we find out the mayor is this Ethiopian, Makshais. So we knew this. We've seen this in the trailer. And the mayor demands why he's visiting. The Majordomo is apologizing and says that Fett is the new daimyo for Jabba. Fett wants to know why assassins were sent after him, and Shai says that they're assassins for the member of the Order of the Night Wind, and asks if the mayor sent them. The mayor guard just shoots the assassin, killing them, then thanking him for bringing in people that are not allowed on Tatooine, and pays him a very measly reward for bringing in this traitor.
It was not a helmet full of credits, and that was very
It was
upsetting.
not a helmet full of credits that the Jawas stole. And Shays talks about how they're not allowed to operate outside Hutt space. So we actually find out who actually did it, and we'll talk about this in just a second. And when he gets the reward, Boba Fett says he's not a bounty hunter. A little weird to me. It means he's not a bounty hunter anymore. And Shay says he's heard otherwise, which means he does know who Boba Fett is. And they kind of talk about how he now sits on the throne of his current employer. Boba Fett gets offended, saying Bib Fortuna was not his former employer. But Shay says, no, I mean Jabba.
Which I like that real quick. Sorry to jump in there, but like, people are still terrified of Hutts. Yes. They're terrified of Jabba kind of thing. Even though Jabba's dead, got killed by Leia in episode 6. But like, people didn't respect Bib. And I think that's funny that they didn't respect him. Because I don't think if you respected Bib and then didn't respect Boba Fett, I think that's a slap in Boba Fett's face. But it's like, no, dude, like, we still think Jabba was the guy, and he's been dead for like 5-6 years whenever this takes place, I guess, after the fact, 6-7 years. So I really like that they were like, no, it's the big guy, the Jabba's the Hutts that we're like terrified of, and we obviously see them in a little bit, but...
So, yeah, and we'll talk about that in a sec. But Fett says that he will take this payment as his belated tribute, and adds that he should remember that the mayor serves the daimyo of Tatooine, and Shai says that he does, but why would he send assassins, and claims there's no motive for killing him. He serves at the daimyo's pleasure, and Fett then says, do not be a fool and cross me, and Shai says that it's more complicated to be a daimyo than just a bounty hunter, and says he should go talk to Garsa Whip at the sanctuary to get an idea of what's happening outside of it.
Right.
So before we talk about that, what do you think of the mayor? Do you think the mayor's bad?
No, but I love the mayor. I don't think he's bad. I think he's ambivalent, and I think it's funny. Like, I think he sees this as his opportunity that he wants to get rid. So this is what I mean by bad. He's bad against Boba Fett, but I don't think he's a bad person. I see it as like he wants to get either wants to get rid of like the whole daimyo situation, and he can actually just rule as the mayor kind of thing, or he's in deep with the Hutts and wants, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but wants the twins to take over and continue the reign of the Hutt.
I'm going to take it as neither of those. I agree with you. I agree with you with the first part. I do not think he is inherently bad. I think when they say mayor, I kind of see it honestly looks like he is literally like the elected mayor of Mos Espa. Like he literally was in like a building that had a guard asking for just regular meeting times. He wants whatever will be the easiest and safest way for Mos Espa to survive. Boba Fett is now a man back from the dead that was just a bounty hunter. The Hutts are, while crime lords, are very much security. You just listen to what they do. They mainly just do what they want, collect their money, but they let everyone else run free unless they upset them. The Hutts offer very good security for places outside of the Republic's reach. Or Empire's reach. We're in New Republic territory now. Right. So if you're the mayor, absolutely the Hutts seem like the correct thing. You do not, and Bib Fortuna was probably working under the guise of the Hutts. If we're going to be honest.
Yeah.
Of course the Hutts make sense.
Yeah.
It's not right, but that mayor is doing the best thing for his city. Because, and we know this from the High Republic, it is very hard to colonize the Outer Rim. Right. And Tatooine is lawless in itself. So the Hutts controlling it and offering it security is good.
Right.
Even though they are inherently evil.
And
that's how I see it.
I think, and that's why I say, like, he's bad for Boba, but I don't think he's bad overall kind of thing.
But I think if Boba Fett actually follows into what the daimyo was supposed to do, I could picture the mayor changing sides a little bit.
True.
That's the thing. The mayor just wants confirmation of security.
Right.
And Jabba and Boba Fett right now does not have that.
That's fair.
So as Boba Fett goes to the sanctuary, full of droids and patrons, taking off his helmet, meets with Garsa, he explains the situation, and she kind of gets nervous. I like this. Boba Fett said he's sweating like a grumpta on Mustafar.
Yeah.
And Garsa explains that the twins have laid claim to their late cousin Jabba's bequest.
Yep.
Fett says that he's never heard. Fett replies that he has heard of the twins, but he thought that they were preoccupied on Nal Hutta to bother with Tatooine. But nope, they're here. The cantina grows silent. Max Rebo stops playing, and there are drums outside. As they exit, they see a procession of the two Hutts on a litter, and as they approach, the Hutt brother tells Fett that they have business to discuss. Boba Fett says this is his territory. They go back and forth saying, no, this is Jabba's territory. And the drummer presents a tablet stating the Hutts claim to Tatooine. Boba Fett rejects it, saying that he is now the daimyo of Mos Espa. The Hutts laugh. And as that happens, a black-armed Wookiee makes an appearance, known as Black Krastan. Is that how you say it?
I always pronounce it as chrysanthemum, but like I don't know how to actually pronounce it. Or like sometimes I'll say chrysanthemum. I don't know how to actually do it, like because it's in the comic book and they don't really, you don't hear the name obviously. I freaked out, Cliff.
You called it. You were the first. You have the first correct. You have the first correct person to see in Book of Boba Fett.
If you all know from like our Marvel episodes and stuff like that, I'm a big comic book reader. I have the Marvel Unlimited app. I love it. Highly recommend you. It's like $60-$70 whatever for the year. It's perfect. I love the Dr. Aphra Star Wars comics. Dr. Aphra is basically an archaeologist who also gets involved in some crime kind of thing, and she partners up with basically an evil version of R2-D2 and C-3PO, but also with Black K. Sometimes she calls him BK and stuff like that. So she partners up with BK, who is just such a cool character in the comics. He has this giant scar over his eye that he got.
He did have a scar too, actually.
It was tough to see, but he did, and he got that from Obi-Wan Kenobi. I gave him that scar. In the comics, he's met and ran into Han Solo, Luke Skywalker. He's Boba really Fett. Cool. Boba Fett, obviously. I was so excited because this is like, I think one of the first only canon comic book characters to go into live action. I'm pretty sure at this point. I don't think anybody else. So that was really exciting to see. And even if it's not, it was still exciting to see because I think he's a really, really cool character. He's interesting. Oh, no. I think Wookiees are hard to create because unless they're in live, like in comics especially, like you can only do so much with a Wookiee because you don't hear the tone of their voice. They're obviously not saying anything besides their Sheerwook kind of thing. Like that you don't see like speech bubbles like, oh, we should go after this guy, things like that. So, but whoever wrote Black K like did a really good job in the comics, giving him a good character and personality, and that's what I liked about him. So to have him here, I just hope we see more of him. I would love a little fist fight. Even it doesn't have to be a whole episode. Literally, just give me like one fight between Boba Fett and Black K, where he has to get through Black K to get through somebody else. That would be cool to see.
That would be something cool. I think you're right about the comics. I'm trying to think, like, a first major book character to come was Cobb Vanth. But I think he was book, not comic. But
that was a book, right.
Exactly.
That was the non-canon books.
Yeah, I thought they did well. And I will admit, as we both are reading the final book in Phase 1, or the final adult novel in Phase 1 of High Republic, with Briaga, it is kind of a pain.
Is that how you say his name?
Briaga, yeah.
I always go Buryaga.
You can add the
Burry.
Yeah, you can add it. Yeah, because they call him Burry.
Yeah,
it is kind of a pain. It's very hard for them to like get across how he talks. They have to say it's like grunts and whines, and then they translate what he says, and it adds a lot of space accidentally. But he's a great character.
Yeah.
So
now they just need to from book to show. They just need to bring my guy in Geode in somehow if he can survive over
one day. Maybe he's still alive. Who knows?
Yeah.
So with Black Chrysanthemum, who's heavily armed with a blaster, approaches Boba Fett, and Fett is not intimidated, very much just completely smacking this Wookiee in the face, metaphorically stating that this is not the death pits of Dur, and he's not a sleeping Trandoshan, so he's not afraid of him, which I think is that's such a slap in the face.
And I was trying to think, was like that something from the comics that like he's referring to? Because that would be awesome. I could be wrong. I don't remember anything about Dur or anything like that in the comics, but I think if it would have been cool if that was something that happened in the comics and he's referencing like that. That's not going to intimidate me, but I don't think so. But we'll see.
But with that, Boba Fett says this is his territory and they should go back to Nal Hutta. The Hutt sister speaks, saying she's offended, and the brother translates that she wants me to kill you for him, and that's when all the weapons start to get loaded. But Fett explains the job is gone, and Bib Fortuna usurped his territory, and he has killed Bib Fortuna, so it is now his. The brother says that bloodshed is bad for business, and that this matter can be dealt with later, but he wants Fett to sleep lightly as the Hutts leave. And
and that's really it for like current time period in this episode, because everything else is a straight up flashback at this point.
And then what we didn't know is Shan tells Boba Fett that they have to get permission to kill a Hutt. You need to get permission from the Hutt clan to kill other Hutts.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Or else you get the wrath of the family.
Right.
I think they're probably going to be given.
I think so.
Given it. But I know now we go into back to living with the Tuscans. The rest of this episode was Tuscan Raider. I thought they did a very good job with it.
I loved it. Yeah, it's all taking place like in his dreams while he's in the Bacta tank.
And I will say, like, I like this episode. I'm prefacing with that. I don't know how I feel about the scene editing. Like, the jumps are a little bit of a pain at times. I truly believe they're testing out different ways to do time jumps to see what will be best for Kenobi.
Yeah,
they are testing time jumps in Book of Boba Fett because they know it's a guarantee. They know people are going to like it, but they are testing different, because episode 1 had very different time jumps. They were back and forth, back and forth. This one was half and half. We might be done with time jumps now, honestly, because it seems like the story is just about done after this. But going through this, he is just living his life with the Tuscans. He's learning how to use the gaffy stick. Just kind of going through, he's just living with them. He's not part of the tribe, but he's with the tribe.
Right.
But as they're training, a hover train approaches and just starts absolutely opening fire on the Tuscans. The Tuscans fight back, but many die, and Fett watches and very much empathizes with them as they burn their dead. It
was sad because, like, I don't know, we've seen obviously the burning of bodies multiple times in Star Wars. We see it with Vader, we see it with Qui-Gon and stuff like that, but this had like a whole different feel to it, and it was just like, this is like one of the first time I've been like, oh, poor Sand People kind of thing. And I didn't even think that when like Anakin killed them, because I was so mad at Sand People for killing Shmi that I was like, yeah, screw the Sand People. This time I was like, oh, this is really depressing, you know?
And I think, I mean, they say that like in the last, or no, they talk about it in this episode. They talk about how like some tribes have resorted to violence, to killing. And if your whole entire tribe got murked by Anakin Skywalker, yeah, you're going to turn to violence, because your only way of doing things is through force. But after this, Boba Fett decides to take matters into his own hand, and unlike Luke, actually goes to Tashi Station.
Yeah.
Not to get power converters, though, but to steal speeder bikes.
Yes.
So
really cool scene.
So we get to Tashi Station, which is frequented by the Nikto miners, but among the patrons, 2 familiar faces. If you watch deleted scenes, Cammy Marstrap and Lay's, how do you even say that? Lonesner are in the bar, which if you have ever watched the extra scenes, the deleted scenes of A New Hope, are Luke Skywalker's friends.
Right.
That he goes and hangs out at Tashi Station with. Have you ever seen those scenes?
Way back in the past, kind of thing. During the episode watching it, I was like, I don't know who these people are. And then after, when I read it, I was like, oh, yeah, because I watched it maybe like 6-7 years ago. I think the last time
I was looking, I'm like, why do they look so familiar? And then
they looked familiar. I was just like, I don't.
And then someone posted it. I'm like, oh my god, that makes sense. Someone made a joke that they wanted to see them like months ago.
Oh, really?
And they actually showed them, and I'm like, this is funny. Very funny. So the Nikto miners are absolutely just being horrible at the bar, but then they start stealing food from Cammy and Lay's, and then Lay's actually says this isn't right, and actually tries to stand up to them, and he's about to get killed when the door opens, and we get Mandalorian Season 1, Scene 1, where Boba Fett, the door opens, and a Mandalorian walks into the bar. And Fett, just with a gaffy stick and rifle, the miners didn't stand a chance.
It's not even a real gaffy stick. It's like a practice one,
fake.
basically.
It's a practice gaffy stick, and he just decimates them, which makes me really question last episode where he gets caught by surprise by the electro sticks.
Right.
But who knows?
This is really cool. It's a cool little... I love close quarters fight scenes like this. I just think, especially where it's not... Like, I don't need long range like blasters and stuff like that. I love good hand-to-hand kind of combat like that's nice at close quarters with like melee weapons. So I thought this was really cool. I love that the gun got broke at first, so he has to start using this practice gaffy stick basically, and I thought it was really, really well done. So
with this, he... I don't know if he kills them all, but he kills a bunch of them. And before he leaves, he stops, drinks the drink at the bar, and leaves. And takes the speeder bikes. The next day, all the speeder bikes are arriving to the Tuscans, who originally are ready for a fight, but then they realize it's Boba. They get there, and he goes, "I have brought you a gift." And the Tuscans try to start attacking the bikes, but he's like, no, I'm going to train you, and we're going to take down the train.
Real quick, can I just mention something at this? I think this is the first time Boba Fett tries signing to them, and that was cool, because he's making that progression from just, like, being their prisoner at first to now, like, after especially helping to burn their dead and stuff like that, making an effort to try to communicate better. So he's doing a lot of more signing now, more frequently, to try to get them to understand. I thought that was, like, a small little subtle thing that I picked up on personally, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and the sign, I should have got the name. The sign language for the Tuscans was created by a deaf, either actor or production person.
Gotcha.
I was reading quickly about that the other day. So we have a really funny training scene where Boba Fett trains the Tuscans how to use these speeder bikes, and the thing that made everyone mad, not everyone, all the man babies mad, were the like a bantha, and he's like on the speeder. I thought that was hilarious.
It was very funny.
But he trains them how to do it. And he continues to practice the gaffy stick.
And Boba Fett's super nice in this. And this is where those idiots are getting mad. Like, that would be never Boba Fett. Boba Fett, you saw him for 5 minutes in movies. Like, 5-6 minutes tops. He had, like, 4 lines of dialogue, whatever it was. Like, you don't know who Boba Fett is. We just thought he was a really cool action figure before, and now he's getting depth. Like, I don't think...
It was a really cool action figure.
It was a cool action figure. It still is. I don't get why these people are so upset that, like, oh, he has, like, this personality to him. That's a good thing. That's a character. How dare you? God forbid he's somebody besides just, like, somebody in a helmet just shooting people. God forbid that happens. How dare you? Has a personality and, like, can, like, they're so dumb. People are so stupid. And I don't care if you don't like how he's personalized, that's fine. But they're mad that he even has a personality, and that's what's irking me, I guess.
But he's very much a Mandalorian.
Yeah, he's just helping out. I don't know.
They're terrifying warriors, but their whole entire culture is based on respect. And he talks about how he was raised by Jango Fett to be a Mandalorian.
Right. As people are so dumb.
So we have one of the coolest scenes. We have a literal train chase. We're really getting back to the Westerns, where they go after the hover train on the speeder bikes.
Really I have a take about this.
Oh, okay. Do we want to get through it and then you give the take? Or
sure.
I'll get through it before.
Yeah.
We'll get through it where they literally go through. It's like the Midwest where the horses come up, they jump on, and they have a shootout on the top of the train, and it's going not well actually for the Tuscans.
Really bad
until the female Tuscan warrior comes throwing her speeder bike into the train, jumping up, and then going through the actual train and just destroying all the Pikes, just absolutely decimating them from the inside, until she takes them all out, and they pretty much have full access to the train. The droid is trying to crash the train or something to it at this point, and then actually just jumps out, just completely throws itself out the window, and Boba Fett is able to use his strength to actually, and resilience, to stop the train in its tracks and crash it. And I'll let you give your take as they round up all the Pikes outside, and Boba Fett's set up like a Daimo, drinking his juice, his whatever it is.
Yeah. So this isn't a take. This is just I want the female Tusken Raider. I want her Funko Pop because she's awesome and she's a badass. 2, I think this out of the Disney Lucasfilm era, I think this is my favorite fight scene that does not involve lightsabers. Of my favorite action scene. Not necessarily fight scene, my favorite action scene. I thought this was so well done for a TV show that's never going to be on the big screen. It's only going to be in people's homes. I thought this was so fun and well done. I love these it's kind of like a little bit of a heist kind of thing, right? Because they're trying to take the train over, or at least stop it. I thought it was so well done. It was so action-packed. I love that you have the female Tusken Raider coming in to like kind of save the day, really, and really getting them out of the situation where it looked like all hope was lost. I thought it was really well done. I loved it.
Yeah, I really liked it, and it's very Western. It's chasing the train. The speeders are the horses. They jump on and they win. And we see that they're Pikes. Right. I don't know how I feel about the Pike look personally. I feel like it wasn't what I was expecting with the mask off. But that's fine. That's a different thing.
They look better with the mask on, but yes,
they look better with the mask on. And they look a little bit more creepy in animation. So as this is going, as Boba Fett's sitting there, he goes, "Who's the leader?" The leader stands up. He goes, "Where's the spice?" And they try to play dumb. What spice? What spice? What do you mean? And then in comical action, the Tuscans drop the box. Spice comes spilling out, and it's like, oh crap! And it's like, you're not doing well if you want to live right now. So they go through it, and Boba Fett is a man of reparations. Says that this land belongs to the Tuscans. All this, that you now need to get permission from them. You need to pay them respect if you want to use the Dune Sea. And he says, we will not kill you. We will give you enough liquid, because it's not going to be water.
We thought it was water, but it's not.
It's better than water.
It's like coconut milk, basically.
It's like coconut milk. That's pretty much what it is. We'll give you enough to get back to civilization, and you will tell this to your bosses. But just know that this is now the Tuscans' territory, and you go through them. And he goes, "Well, we'll get killed walking through the desert." And he goes, "No, you are now under the protection of the Tuscan Raiders.
I love
no
that.
harm will come to you in the Dune Sea."
And I love that because
so
that's
cool.
That's a way for like these Tuscans, like they can get money by being these protectors and having people like pay taxes essentially to use the Dune Sea for travel. Like this is how they can build up their civilization to become more than what it already is right now, which is a great tight knit community. But they could be better, kind of thing, and they can use that money to get through it. Real quick on the Pikes, I think we're moving on from the Pikes in a second.
Yes.
This is their second live action appearance, I believe.
Yes.
First appearance was in when?
Oh, I know. I was going to talk about this. How
Kira's coming.
I believe
Kira's 100% coming. I don't care where Kira's coming.
Kira is coming, and there is actually I didn't even talk about this. There is a rumored spin-off show that is going to be Kira centered.
Fine.
Kira might supposedly be getting her own show, which would be a cool way to show the underworld.
And if you're not going to be doing Solo 2, I just want to see the. I love Alden. I love obviously Chewbacca, and like I love all those characters from Solo. But the real story I want to see, and I want to see in Solo 2, is essentially a Crimson Dawn spinoff. I would have loved Solo 2, where we follow Han Solo again, where it's Alden kind of thing. I want the Crimson Dawn. Like, I want to see live action Darth Maul again. I want to see Kira because I thought she was awesome, and she's great in that the Bounty Hunter spin-off comics that just came out, the War of the Bounty Hunters. Like, she's awesome. So as much as I want Solo 2, if we get the spin-off of Crimson Dawn, that I would want even more. So I'd be pumped if we got that.
No, yeah,
and if this sets it up, great.
That's what I think is setting up. And it would be cool if Kira's still alive at this point.
Yeah. Well, she's alive in between 5 and 6, episode 5 and 6, because she's in War of the Bounty Hunter. So it'd be cool.
So when they go back, also they had a really fun scene where they break open the water container and all the Tuscans start cheering, and everyone's like, "Why are they wasting water?" I'm like, "They have the melons. The melons are so much. The water is just like, oh my god, water."
Yeah.
So later that night, we get actually reconfirmation of a very important canon about Tatooine. The Tuscan chief explains how, since the oceans of Tatooine had dried up, they had stayed hidden. If people don't know this, we kind of learned this, I believe, in KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, where Tatooine was once a very lush, beautiful planet with their people. and an ancient order got mad at Tatooine because they were enslaved. And then they decided to dry the planet. They completely dried it, turned it into what it is today. And the people that lived there turned into one of two beings. One being the Tuscan Raiders, the others being the Jawas. And that's how it was for the rest of the time. So we actually got reconfirmation of that canon, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. Talks about how some tribes were turned only to killing. Fett replies that they shouldn't have to hide because they're warriors. And the Tuscan chief just says that off-worlders have machines and that they can't really do it. And Fett says, no, you have machines now as well, and it's going to be your entire Dune Sea. Boba Fett gets a gift. It's a lizard. So it's a drug lizard.
So when you saw this, I thought this was like a little mastiff. That's what I thought at first. I was like, oh, they gave him a little pet mastiff kind of thing. No, the thing goes in his nose and puts him on a weird... This is why, don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. Kids.
I did not know. I'm like, is this like a little like pet? Is it?
That's what I thought. I thought it was gonna become a mastiff for him, like a pet.
And then it went up his nose, and I'm like, is this something that just like sits in his brain and like tells him where he is in the Dune Sea? But no, he starts tripping.
Very cool. It was a very cool scene.
And he's going through like all these things. Like he's seeing like different parts of Tatooine. He sees a tree, oceans, flashbacks to Camino, the Slave One. That was a new thing for the Slave One, I believe. That was a new.
I believe so.
Old
where it was flying away.
Yep. And finally, he emerges. He's walking back to the camp with a big stick. And they actually use it to turn the branch into his own gaffy stick. And at the end of that, when the gaffy stick is done and it's approved, and this is where he gets his fancy gaffy stick, he gets robed. He gets Tuscan robes and bandages. And a cloaked Boba Fett emerges with now his Tuscan friends and family. And they start doing this dance. And if anyone don't know, it's a version of the New Zealand dance, the native New Zealand dance, which I believe Tamora talked about how he wanted that in there.
The haka or whatever, I think.
I think it's the haka. So it was really cool because he asked for that.
And I loved this whole thing because I thought when the lizard thing went up his nose and he started tripping, I was like, what the hell are they doing? And then when I realized when he was in that tree and he was ripping off the branch, I was like, oh, that's when it clicked, like, oh my god, this is a rite of passage. He's going to get to build his gaffy stick, and that's what we see in Mando, basically. We see that gaffy stick, and we saw him in the black robes kind of thing. Like, it was just really cool to see what the Tuscan Raiders' rite of passage is, where you're tripped on this drug, I guess, this lizard drug. You go get your gaffy stick, they show you how to craft it, you make it your own, they robe you. I thought it was really cool. This was a beautiful, beautiful ending. It had no dialogue whatsoever, which is something that they're absolutely killing in this show. I think is really good. I think if you can tell a story without dialogue, that's some of the most powerful storytelling you can tell. It's why we loved Mando so much, because yes, there's dialogue, but like, you couldn't see his facial expressions. It was just the mask. I think no dialogue does the same thing too, where you have to pick up on cues and stuff like that. Really, really cool. And then the haka, their version of the haka at the end was beautiful as well.
Yes. So I have two things. I have one thing I forgot to mention earlier, and this is one thing I agreed with the people that were complaining about this episode on Twitter. I do truly believe Hutts should only be puppets.
Okay, that's fine.
I was not a huge fan.
Should we wrap up first and then we'll talk about those, or?
Well, that was the end. They dance off.
No, I just didn't know if you had anything else. Okay,
no, yes. They were very much in the like what Jabba looks like in A New Hope right now.
I don't really care if they're puppets or animated.
I just think,
I get why people do care.
The puppets just look so cool. Yes. And like everything else right now is some form of like puppet animatronic, like even like the masks on the Trandoshans are crazy. The other thing, this is it doesn't matter. This is my question for the series: do we see a Tuscan Raider get unmasked?
I think so. I think it's gonna be the female one.
And do you want that?
I'm nervous. I don't know what it's gonna look like underneath there. I don't know. I mean,
we have pictures from old, not canon, from Legends. They look terrifying. They look terrifying. Well, at least the men do.
I think it's gonna be that. I think that's gonna be a big thing, and I think that's gonna be a very contentious thing in the Star Wars Twitterverse. If you already don't think it's contentious now,
anything in Star Wars, no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. We know this.
That's fair. This guy doesn't look bad. Oh, I don't know if what
That was a great little thing to capture. Just that. No, it's oh no.
That's good. That's just gonna be nightmare fuel. I can't wait. Yeah, yes, we're gonna see a Tuscan Raider unmasked. Yes,
I'm gonna say I don't care.
I don't care. I don't like need it or anything, but I think we will.
Okay, then my other question. Definitely won't see this. Would you rather see a Tuscan Raider unmasked or a Jawa unmasked?
Jawa.
Okay.
Jawa. Yep. I just want to know what shape their head is. Like, I want to know, are those glasses the little eyes or are those the actual eyes just glow? Like, I want to know what a Jawa looks like underneath their hood.
I just had to ask that one. The other one, the worst theory, and I'll end with this before we sign off. The worst theory I have seen is that the female Tuscan Raider is Fennec Shand.
I've seen that the female Tuscan Raider is that badass chick on the motorcycle from the last trailer that came out.
Yes. That's an interesting one.
That's one theory I saw, and I was like, maybe.
Actually, that would make sense why she was so pale. Why her?
But do you think a Tuscan Raider looks human?
That's part of the theory. Tuscan Raiders might just be human.
That would be interesting. That would be very interesting.
Theory. That would be interesting. Oh yeah, we haven't even met them yet. That would be really interesting. I don't know. The Shan one's just horrible. I think the Fennec Shan. Actually, the Fennec Shan one doesn't even make sense because she's in Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Some people come up with these ridiculous theories.
It's a lot of people. You don't have to watch the animated stuff to be a Star Wars fan, but it's like those people who are just live action. I feel like come up with some theories, and it's not that they're bad theories. It's if you just watch all the live action, that's a good theory.
You miss a lot.
Yeah. But if you don't, and again, I'm not saying I hate those people say if you don't watch the animated or if you don't read the books, you're not Star. Those people are dumb. Watch and be a fan however you want, but I think you do. I think it's fair to not criticize, but to mention you do miss stuff when you don't read the books, when you don't read the comics, when you don't read or when you don't watch the animated shows. Especially the animated shows, I think are huge. I don't know how you could have had the joy we all felt in Mando for what was chapter 14, I think was the Jedi. When you see a live action Ahsoka, you don't get that joy unless you watch Clone Wars, basically, and Rebels.
Right. But yeah, exactly, and that's like you said. Anyone that enjoys Star Wars is a Star Wars fan. But that's it for this week. Great episode. I think we're almost done with the past. With the Tuscan Raiders, I think then we'll start seeing, we know we're going to see Empire, we're going to see certain things. But where can they find you and the podcast? On Twitter. Talk
more about Book of Boba Fett and anything else you want to talk about that's Disney, Star Wars, Marvel related. You can find me at Twitter at CamRamos95. You can find the podcast at Twitter at Stream the Mouse. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Streaming with the Mouse. You can find us on our website, cprob.com/streamthemouse. You can also find us on our YouTube channel. Make sure you look for Streaming with the Mouse. And we're also available to listen to on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Just be sure to search for Streaming with the Mouse. Make sure you please rate, review, 5 stars, recommend, share, all the fun stuff about this episode to your friends, family, whoever. Star Wars fans, non-Star Wars fans, I don't care. Just listen to it. Really helps us out. And Cliff, where can they find you?
You can find me at CP Robinson81. So we will see you next week for another episode of the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 3. So for Cam Ramos, my name is Clifton Paul Robinson signing off. Have a good day, everyone, and we will see you next week.
Have a magical day, everyone.